Welcome to the Afterthought, a monthly podcast where we bring to you artists, musicians, and thinkers of alike. I'm your host, Billy Barnes. In today's episode, we bring you DREW ROULETTE, the bassist of the band Dredge. Now, some of you may or may not know that Drew is actually a very talented artist. Check his stuff out. Now sit back and relax and enjoy our presentation of the Afterthought. When did the band Dredge start exactly?
We formed in 1992, around there. You know, I'd met Mark, the guitar player, on my pony baseball team, and we never played any of the positions. We'd always just sit on the bench and talk about music. We both kind of liked the same music at the time, Pantera, Primus, and a bunch of metal bands and stuff. So he had already been playing guitar for a while, and I just picked up the bass, and we just started hanging out a lot and just kind of messed around on the weekends. And met Dino shortly thereafter. He was in my Spanish class. He was always banging on the seat behind me. It was so fucking annoying.
How funny.
Who is this annoying kid, dude? But we all became great friends, and I met Gavin in my art class in high school, and we just started to play music for fun, and it just, you know, evolved into the band after that.
That's awesome. And so when you went to college, you took time away from the band to go to college, or how did that work out?
Yeah, it was kind of at the right time. A couple of the guys were still in high school, so I shot down here for a couple of years. I mean, we'd still, you know, meet up on, you know, a couple times a month or once a month, just for like to kind of put song ideas together and stuff. But then the summertime we would do a bunch of shows around California and stuff. So
That's awesome. And so then you moved back home after leaving San Diego State, and then formed the band after that.
Yeah, I went on a short program called A Semester at Sea in 1998, which was an eye-opening experience, one of the best experiences of my life. And then after that, instead of coming back down to San Diego, I just went home for a little bit to kind of get my foundation again, and then the band started playing a lot more shows, and so I had to dedicate full time at that point to the band.
That's awesome. And my first experience with your art as an artist was actually coming to see you guys play. I think there was 2 of your pieces that were on stage, and I remember I inquired about who was the artist, and found out that you were actually creating some of the art that was on the stage. When you were creating these pieces, were you creating them in conjunction with the band Dredge, or were you kind of at that point also going throughout your own experience as an artist, and then kind of eventually just tied them in together?
Yeah, I think, you know, for me the creative process, it all stems from the same place, you know. But I think I was creating the art separate at the time, and then it just made sense to kind of display it on stage, you know, just because we weren't running visuals or anything at the time, so it just created kind of an extra element on the stage that could kind of, you know, define us or somehow, you know,
accentuate,
make us stand out or something.
Yeah.
You know, but that's something we did for a while. I would you know, put a lot of my paintings on stage for a while just to kind of flare it up, and then we started using plants and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then cool rugs. I always liked your guys' rugs. So going back to your stays in San Diego State, when you went there for art, what was your main focus? What was your influences that you wanted to be when you went there? More of a contemporary artist, more classical, more... did you have anything set in mind, or were you kind of just an open book trying to take in what you learned there?
Yeah, I think, you know, I always knew I wanted to pursue the arts. I don't think I really knew what direction I wanted to take. I knew I like created characters and things that were like kind of whimsical, so I knew that was something that a direction I'd want to keep going in. But also wanted to come, you know, take classes and learn more about the traditional ways, and have somebody, you know, have me step outside my box and create things that I wouldn't normally create. And that's what I always enjoyed about, you know, taking art classes or professors and such. They would always, you know, have you do things that you would never think about doing, and would force you to think differently.
So how would you, now as an artist, describe your art?
I describe it as whimsical, transcendental psychedelia.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of psychedelia in there, for
Yeah.
sure. Every time I look at your art, I I think of like Alex Gray or
Definitely a huge influence.
yeah, and you know, my experiences with psychedelic trips and whatnot. And the colors, the fantastic colors, I really like the color concepts that you use.
Yeah, I try. You know, vibrant colors is kind of been my thing lately. Just something about it. I just love working with vibrant colors and rainbows.
But also the hard contrast, which I like as well. You paint a black background, and then it just pops the colors out even more, which is really awesome. As far as with your art right now, do you have anything going on with any upcoming shows or?
Oh yeah, I actually just put up a website where I sell some of my stuff. That's www.DREWROULETTE.com, and I'm also doing a show with you, Billy, La Toria show down here in San Diego. It's at the Centro Cultural de Raza at Balboa Park, and that opens February 16th, and I think it's up for a month. And I'm going to have 2 pieces in there, La Luna and La Calavera. So
explain those ones a little bit. What was the La Luna one about? Or?
Yeah, La Luna one. I chose to do a bat to kind of relate to the moon. I titled it "Batshit Cray," kind of playing off of Jay-Z lyrics. But
that shit cray.
But it's just a bat. It's a bat, like a kind of a whimsical bat with colors.
It's awesome.
Kind of vibrant colors. And then the other one's La Calavera, which is a skull, and there was a older piece that I had titled "Do You Mind's Eye," and it's just kind of like a skull with ghosts flying through it and coming out the sides and stuff.
That's awesome. I know you had shipped them over here for me to bring over, and I had them sitting in my my house before I took it down to the curator, and quite frankly didn't want to take them to the curator by the time they accented my house very well, and kind of wanted to keep those, and definitely want to get a print if you do that.
I'm thinking definitely making prints of the bat one for sure.
And that's it's February 16th, you said?
Yep, at the Balboa Park. And that runs
awesome.
for a month, and there's I think hundreds of artists, and they're all different interpretations of the Loteria cards, and it should be a good time.
That's awesome, man. And are you doing anything musically right now? I mean, outside of Dredge or inside of Dredge?
I play in another band called Dark Heavens. Actually, the guitar player singer lives down here in San Diego. It's kind of a 3-piece, kind of throwback punk metal kind of thing. We just have one EP out. We're playing some shows, making a video at the moment for a song titled "Lips of Leather." We're actually using real kittens who start a band.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really hard though. Like filming animals is something it's the most difficult thing in the world. But other than that, I'm always making music at home, and my buddy works for this this app gaming company, and he just reached out to me, and I might start like scoring some game apps. And
no way, that's awesome. Cool. Yeah, one of my favorite game apps, game soundtracks would be Tobin. He did man, what did he do? It was
for an app, huh?
No, it's actually for a video game, but video game soundtrack. What was that for? I'm pretty bad with the whole video game things. Yeah. I kind of dropped out after they switched from A, B, and select and start. And so I started getting all the controllers. They
added X and Y and all that.
And then the bottom ones, I didn't even know what the hell was going on. Splinter Cell was it. If you have a chance, check out the Splinter Cell.
That's a good game, actually.
The soundtrack is off the hook. It's just really cool that musicians are now kind of filtering into the video game app, video apps and whatnot.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
It's just a really cool way to get out there. I've even started thinking about, as far as filmmaking, I've heard that they're kind of moving more into directing it live almost, where they have people with stop motion sensors, and they're kind of, in a sense, acting out an entire film, and then digitizing is so I think it'd be kind of cool to see directors kind of move into video games where you actually write a script and then direct this crazy video game and get into scoring it and whatnot. But that's awesome. And then what's going on? You guys working anything new for Dredge at all? Or
not at the moment particularly. We just did a couple of shows right before the holidays where we'd play our full, our records in full. other than that, I think we're just taking a little bit of a break. I mean, not necessarily for a long time, but just it seemed right at the moment, just to kind of, try to get inspired by our own personal lives. A little bit.
Go out and find stories, and then come back, and then I'll like see what the new elements are being brought to the pot and whatnot.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Actually, I've been hearing something about a stop motion film that you've been doing. I've been following on either Twitter or Facebook, and kind of just seeing stills that have been posted. Nothing more than that, but you want to give us a little insight to what's that about?
Yeah, my buddy and I, my friend Mark Donahue, he runs a company called Permagrin Films. It's at permagrinfilms.com. He does a lot of like time lapses and music videos and things like that. He did a thing called Dream Music 2.
Yeah, I got something like 1 million hits in like a week or something.
Yeah,
something
like it's at 2 million something right now.
That's insane.
In a couple weeks, but we did 1 and 2, but the second one, it's kind of it's a process he invented. It's called lyric lapsing. He calls it that. It's like stop motion lip syncing. So it takes the viewer on a journey through 3 different songs where the character is lyric lapsing the whole time, and it kind of tells the story with the lyrics and stuff. But so him and I are working on another project. It's a stop motion project titled "We Are All Puzzled," and it's kind of a love story about puzzle pieces falling in love.
And that was based off an art piece or a puzzle that you had created, correct? Out of one of your art pieces?
Yeah, well, I did this run of these. I took one of my paintings and made puzzles out of it. And there's this company called Liberty Puzzles where they make these amazing wooden puzzles where they laser cut all the pieces and they turn them into little characters and stuff like that. So that kind of inspired the idea for the film. Yeah, we just, one night we just cracked at it and just got a storyboard down, and we filmed a couple of the scenes so far. And it's time-taking. Yeah. It's such tedious work, but
but you're building you two are building these sets from hand, right?
Yeah.
From what I'm seeing, I saw like a river of some sort and trees and rocks and it was really intense, just the ability to build a set like that, and then on top of that having to then stop motion something frame by clip by clip by clip.
It's cool. I mean, we're learning a lot. We're learning kind of as we go, but you're building these scenes from nothing, and it's amazing how how you can trick the viewer into perceiving things. Like we built this lake on the table, and all it was just blue tape that we laid down. But when you're at a certain like angle with the camera, and you put like a canoe traveling across it, it looks like a lake.
How
it's
funny.
Pretty amazing. Yeah.
And so, how long is this film looking to be?
It'll I couldn't see it being more than 10 minutes, So.
And it's based off of what music?
Mark and I are gonna score. Well, I'll do most of the scoring, but it's kind of like each character has its own leitmotif, and then they all kind of come together at the end. Kinda.
And so this is something that this is gonna be all new music, nothing that we've ever heard before.
Yeah.
That you're scoring for. What kind of instrumentation are you looking to use for this?
Different, really, because each character is kind of like has a different cultural background, so we kind of want to match that with the music theme,
Like Indian would be like a
Indian character, so whether that's like like
sitar or some sort.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that point yet, but I mean those are the ideas at this point. And then there's like a tap dancer character, and thinking of just like tap dance beats and stuff.
That's
like
awesome.
That. Yeah.
So when can we look to find that, to see that out?
Yeah, I mean Mark and I, we're planning on hitting it hard pretty soon. I would say definitely by fall we should have it done.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys gonna do like I saw that for one of the videos you guys had rented out a theater back in your hometown area.
We'll probably do the same thing up in San Jose. Rented the theater out for the night and just showcase it once. Or something.
That's awesome. That's really cool. We're gonna go take a break right now, and then we'll be back shortly with DREW Roulette. We are here with DREW Roulette of the band Dredge. We're going to go and take a couple of questions from Twitter. The first question is from Jeremy York. It's what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you at one of your shows? I'm sure a lot goes on out on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I got last time when we were in Russia last year, there was this crazy Russian guy who just wouldn't stop yelling, so I had to kind of like take my bass and just reach down there and hit him in the head really quick so he'd shut up.
You hit him in the head.
That was just a mild story.
Was he heckling you?
I don't know what he was saying. It was some Russian.
He's probably saying "I love you" in Russian.
No, but everybody was looking at him like, what the fuck are you saying? Shut the fuck up! Everybody's super annoyed, you know.
And so he was heckling.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
So what happened to the guy after you hit him?
Nothing.
He just shut up?
Yeah, I mean, he was kind of over it at that point. I think he felt embarrassed. But the craziest story is actually, I caught it on film. It was when we were touring in Germany. I wanted to play a prank on the other guys, and the year before we had played this venue where they let us park our bus outside for the night. You know, we went out to the bars and we came back. We probably got back at like 6 a.m. or something. And we're getting a little crazy and we're throwing bottles against the side of the venue wall and like just smashing them and shit, you know, like stupid adolescents.
Boys, being boys.
Boys.
Yeah.
Actually, I wasn't throwing the bottles, so.
Of course, you were just watching and.
I was really asleep at this point. I won't name any names, but, well, maybe I will. But, so then, you know, then we heard that the venue was, you know, a couple weeks down the road, we heard the venue was upset and they wanted us to, you know, pay all this money to repaint the wall, and it was like some ridiculous figure. They were, I don't know, you know, they were trying to scam us basically, and so the next time we were coming into Germany, we were kind of scared that, I don't know, the cops would show up or somebody would show up to try to claim these funds, you know. So, and we were actually playing that same venue again at the end of the tour. So I got this idea. I was like, man, I should prank these guys and like hire some fake cops to like come on stage and like fake arrest them, you know. So,
I think I saw this on YouTube.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay,
so,
cool.
We filmed it, but it was kind of cool. I had to kind of wait it out to see if the real cops were actually going to show up, because I didn't want to hire 2 fake cops and have the real cops show up.
Incriminate yourself.
Like,
yeah, that'd
we'll
be
be
awesome.
like, what's going on here, kind of thing, you know. So you know, I just went ahead and did it. I spent all my per diems, you know, on these 2 fake German cops, and they show up in the middle of the set and they're just standing on the side of the stage and they have this paperwork and they're like yelling, and you can see Gavin and Dino, like who I was pranking, basically were just like looking over as we were performing, like kind of scared, like what's gonna happen, like, oh shit, what do I do? And then the song came to end, but they wouldn't stop playing because they didn't want the song to end, because then they have to be confronted by the, you know, these German police. So like Dino kept jamming and jamming out, and like he's like looking around, he's like, this song's never gonna end, you know. Finally the song ends. Well, the cop went over and stood behind him, was like tapping on his shoulder while he's playing drums, you know. I was like, stop it. So we get him off the stage and we go to the back real quick, and I told him to just speak German and yell and not speak any English. Just to,
so that means talk regular in German, right?
Yeah, exactly. So just, you know, to scare the shit out of them so they wouldn't know what's going on. They kept pointing at this paperwork like, eins, you know, like, but we didn't let it last that long. Probably like a minute later, we kind of just all started laughing and say, "Oh, you guys have been pranked." But I mean, the looks on their faces were priceless.
And so now, I mean, from the video I saw on YouTube, the crowd was booing, and they
were chanting like "fuck you, cops" and all this shit. It was pretty funny.
And so these people were not cops; they were just hired 2 guys in cop outfit.
Oh, a guy and a girl actually.
Oh, cool.
But yeah.
And did they nothing afterwards? They just stayed for the show.
Yeah, they hung out for the show. And the guy felt bad. He felt like everybody hated him because...
That's what I was afraid of. This poor guy's going to walk out in the street someday and these fans are rabid fans are going to start kicking the shit out of him.
But they got a good laugh, too. It was all in good fun. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're planning something against me. But,
oh, God. Keep sleep with one eye open. Actually, back to a little bit of when you were touring and kind of filming stuff. You guys just released your the 3-Hour Banana, was it?
Yeah.
I just recently watched that and
nice.
Was just blown away. That it was. I remember you had said that you were filming stuff, and I had at some of your shows saw the camera on you know, on the floor and whatnot, and you were kind of capturing all this. But to see it all come together, and that was you and Mark who had edited it, correct?
Yeah, well, it was, you know, I did most of the filming. It was for when we were recording the Catch Without Arms record up in Seattle, and so I would just have my camera out every day, just trying to, you know, capture anything I could. And then it was a long process of editing. It was timing and everything, but you know, shit, what is this, like almost 8 years later or something? We finally put it out, and it was me, Mark, and our friend John O'Kane, who we've edited stuff with him in the past. He did our Crickets DVD and stuff like that, but
And
Yeah.
where can people get this? Just for those who
You can go to dredge.com and
it's up on
in
there.
the news section. Yeah, it's $5 download. It's just a digital thing, but
But it's a good 45-minute flick, right?
45 minutes, and it kind of walks you through the whole process of each song, and I mean, it doesn't get too in depth. There's no interviews really or anything like that. Like, it was just kind of like
Capturing the moment.
yeah, it was just like I don't know, it was like just a kind of like a strange video, just like edited really strange. But I think that's just
I liked it a
really
lot, and
good.
I liked how there was no traditional talking, sitting
Mhm.
there, you know, like talking about the album. It was just showing what it takes to make an album.
Yeah,
And a lot of people who, kind of going back to the people that bash people on internet, don't know what it's like to make an album, and the stress of having to sit there and hack something out with a group of people. And it was cool just seeing, you know, Dino drumming, and then the next clip he's laying down sleeping, you know, and just trying to get sleep wherever you can because you guys are just at it, you know. And I was really, really impressed with the editing and the sequencing of the film, and I definitely encourage anybody out there to, if you haven't seen it yet, you know, definitely check that out.
Yeah, it's called 3 Hour Banana, but it's not 3 hours long. So.
Well, so how did you come up with the name 3 Hour Banana?
Gavin's little brother, a great friend of mine, Nate, was visiting us in the studio, and I think he had taken it deep the night before, a couple nights before. Almost got alcohol poisoning actually from drinking too much, so his throat was really sore. He like couldn't even drink water barely. So he, you know, it was like a horrible time to come visit us in the studio, but he was just sitting there in pain, and he couldn't eat or barely anything. So he had this banana that he was trying to eat, and he literally had the thing for 3 hours in his hand. It's like, what the fuck are you doing there?
You're just like a time lapse of it, just turning, you know,
Yeah,
old and
slowly
just
going away.
Yeah, how funny.
But so I don't know, it seemed like the perfect name for the DVD, just because it was kind of a strange.
In the process of making an album, it's hard, you know. It's you know, putting it together now. Yeah, that's hilarious. I really enjoyed that film.
Sweet.
We're going to take another question from one of our Twitter people. They're called people, right? Or Twitters. Is there a certain
people,
Twitter name for these people? It was when was the first time that you remember creating? What was your first art piece that you created?
Oh wow. You know, I can't remember creating it, but I have some stuff that my mom's kept over the years, you know, that she's gotten framed. There was this one that's on my wall. I drew a scientist, like a mad scientist at one point, and he was like in his lab doing shit, and like one of the bottles had broke, and there was this liquid coming off the table, and it was like pouring onto this cat, and it was like burning the cat.
Oh, weird.
That's like one of the first pieces that you know, that I can see, but I don't really remember creating.
How old were you when you created that?
You know, I was probably in second grade or third grade.
And was it color crayons, colored pencils? What was it?
Yeah, it was colored. It was pencils and colored crayons. The first thing I actually remember creating, which it's not really creation, but I used to like. I used to take the Victoria's Secret catalogs.
Oh, I love those.
I really wanted to see what the women looked like naked. So I would take tracing paper, and I would trace like
their figures,
them, and then like just take away the lingerie or whatever, and draw out nipples and some pubic hair or something.
And how old are you at this one? Like 28, 29?
Second, third grade.
Oh, okay.
28, 29. That's actually the first thing I remember, first art form I remember doing.
Those are vintage, man. Vintage Victoria's Secrets. That's when they actually had good lingerie. Now I feel like Victoria's Secret stuff is like all catered to this like ultra bubblegum color stuff.
Yeah.
That shit's gross.
Yeah, very vibrant.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'd be like, what the hell are you wearing, woman? Like, it's funny, my very first art piece that I've ever created actually will not be seen by anybody other than my mother. I must have been 3 years old, 3 or 4, probably 3. My mom said she had, I was raised by a single mother, so she was sleeping in the room next, in her room, and had heard this sound of, what sounded like something dragging on the walls, dragging, and so she gets up at like 4 a.m., 3 a.m., she said, and kind of walked into my room, and it was completely dark in there, and I guess I didn't have a light switch. It was like a little lamp that you had to pull down the thing to turn on the lamp, and she said she sees this figure standing across against the wall and just rubbing the wall, And it was this really eerie kind of like the Ring sort of scene that my mom's explaining to me, and she walks over and turns on the lamp, and I had taken my entire color crown set and just drew this huge, what she described as a potato on the wall. Just this, 4 foot big, just huge potato. And my mom, was just like, Billy, what is it? What are you doing? And I turned around, and so, in a matter of fact tone was just, was like, it's a whale, Mom. Like, duh, it's a whale. And I had explained to her that I had, saw this whale in my dream, and that I wanted to recreate it, and therefore I went ahead and decided to make a mural. So I was a muralist before any kind of, and so, but what's funny is even today I still have a lot of whales in my dreams. I'm constantly visited by whales in my dreams, and they have like a telepathic telepathy. What is that? Conversations with me. And it's very strange. So I'm wondering if it had started at this, such a young age of this whale thing. But
don't they call San Diego the whale's vagina too?
Is that what it is? Because of what's it called, SeaWorld? Or is that no, just the whale's vagina?
I don't know why.
All right. Okay. We need to change tape real quick, so we're gonna do that and take a little quick break, and we'll get back to our Twitter questions. We'll be back with you from PharaohFactoryPublishing.com and Drew Roulette.
You can tell, man, this goes way back. This is from my own family. This is what we played. What's up, it's your boy Ruben Torres, inviting everyone to come hang out at the first annual Heart of Loteria event. It's cracking off over at the Centro Cultural in Balboa Park, world famous. It's going to be from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. We're going to have everything popping off. It's going to be crazy. We got live art, live music, body painting, artists from all over the world. Over 100 artists going to be displaying their art. It's going to be crazy. We wanted to go ahead and celebrate the Latino culture and bring back what we grew up on, the pastime. A lot of us didn't grow up playing video games, and we didn't have all the Nintendo Wii and all this other crazy stuff. So this is all we had right here, Loteria. Make sure you guys spread the word. Tell your friends. It's right around the corner, February 16th. Come support a good thing.
Are you nervous at all to show your art, or when it comes time to put your art out there for people to see, do you secretly get nervous? Are you how do you feel about that?
Really, I maybe I used to, but at this point I'm just excited to get something done and put it somewhere and have people see it and just get a reaction out of it. I mean, maybe if at a show or something, if I was showing it at a show, I'd have to get a little saucy in order
to mingle,
to communicate with people. But at this point I'm really excited to always show my pieces.
I remember I always get asked that from people, am I nervous to show my art? Or people will tell me, like, I'm too nervous if they're an artist, and I say, why don't you ever show your stuff? They always tell me how nervous they are, people judge and whatnot. And I remember it was kind of like I was showing my first show was at a spot in San Jose at Rosie McCann's in Santana Row. They had like a little art thing.
Oh, nice.
And so a couple days before, I was all gung-ho, happy, ready to go. And then, my friend had asked me, aren't you nervous to show your stuff? And it kind of hadn't entered into my mind at that moment. But ever since that point, I started like, oh, shit, should I be nervous? I'm kind of like, fuck, is it good enough? And so it kind of started eating at me a little bit. And until the night of the show, I hung everything up, and I had about like 8 pieces in there. And I was pretty happy with all of them, the way they came out. And I was watching this couple walk up, about in their young 20s, and the guy's face when he looked at my art just made the most terrible face. He just his face was just puckered up and just did not like my art, and had turned around and whispered something to the girl about how he didn't like it, and he didn't know that standing next to him was the actual artist of it. And I remember seeing that, and it was kind of like my worst fear manifesting in front of me. But seeing that made me, it kind of made me feel comfortable, and that was kind of the worst of it, sort of thing. And I remember I became super calm after that, and ever since then, I realized that you can't can't make everybody happy with
Yeah.
your art, and not everybody is gonna like your art, and what people find aesthetically pleasing is not, from one person to another. It's not the same. So I always like to ask that to artists to see, is that something that you think of, or if you're nervous or whatnot.
I think that's something to say about all art in general. I mean, I think, it's you're always going to find somebody that loves and hates it no matter what,
Especially with the internet, man. People don't give a shit anymore. People are so quick to pop off. They have this screen in front of them, and they feel comfortable just to just run their mouths at certain things, and it's quite tragic.
Yeah, it gets out of control, man. Some of that online bullying and shit is just ridiculous.
Do you read like reviews for Dredge's music ever on iTunes or forums or whatnot?
Definitely. I mean, I definitely get curious about that stuff. I don't know. I mean, I just take what I can from it. It's not like it ever changes anything. You don't ever really mold your art to what people are saying, I think.
Yeah, I often wonder that if the artists, musicians who put out records or art or whatnot, look to see what people are saying. Mm-hmm. I feel like whenever I put out anything on YouTube, I always disable comments or likes, or just because I really don't care to hear what I mean. If you really like it, I feel like you'll seek me out and you'll tell me. But there's just so often times that people are just going out of their way just to tear you down. And so just not into that whole. Yeah,
people are weird. I mean, we put out our last record, Dredge's last record, and it didn't get a lot of track, not as many of our fans liked it as they had our previous. But it's funny, you would just post a picture of like a penguin or something, and people underneath it would just be like, "Your last album sucks." It's like completely irrelevant to what's going on. It's just like, what the fuck, man? I would always just ban those people. I'm like, I don't want to hear your shit, dude.
It's
Get the hell out of here, dude.
Well, what's funny is a lot of people like they run their mouth about how they could do this or how this sucks and this and that. But my question is to these people is, what have you done? Like, and given the resources that you're given, like, if you can do it better, why haven't you done it better? And why are you sitting in front of your computer running your mouth about it? And I read my favorite bands. I go on iTunes and read what people say, and there's been times when I've gotten into, defending my favorite bands and talking about shit back to these people. But, I mean, I always say, like, if you were to see these people in the street and, or they were to go to your show and they would meet you, it would be a complete different, they would be on your jog. They'd be, shaking your hand, telling you that they love you, this and that, and then, go home and run their mouths about it.
That actually happened there was this Turkish girl fan who just started sending like all this hate mail about like our last record and stuff, saying all these weird things. And then, we had traveled to Turkey last year and we got a chance to meet her. And she was just instantly so apologetic, came right up to us and said,
so she admitted that she was...
Yeah, like, I'm so sorry about all that stuff I was saying. And it's just like, what do you want? You want attention?
Well, it's just like people just don't take the time to realize what it takes to create, to anything, And I mean, I run my mouth a fair share. I'm not going to joke about that, about, things that I don't find aesthetically pleasing. But I also, like, at the end of the day, tip my hat to anybody that can sit down and produce something, whether it be a song, a painting, even growing a plant is extremely difficult. It's like if you're putting the effort into something, at the end of the day, I tip my hat to you and say,
as you should,
yeah. And so, but it's the whole internet thing is really is kind of out of control right now.
Yeah, we need some internet police or something.
Yeah, or just do like Jay and Silent Bob, Like I want to, print out these people and find out where they're staying, who they are, and just go whoop their asses. I mean, but I would love to do it in a way where you don't say who you are. You just knock on the door and then you just say who you are. They say, are you so and so, and then just start whooping their ass.
If it's a negative comment, you shouldn't be allowed to type negative comments. You should have to like only be filmed saying these negative comments.
I agree.
So then when you post it, it's
some
like
accountability.
Yeah. Your face.
And then underneath says where your address is. And so, I mean, if you still want to make that comment, you're on camera and your address is posted, you're going to get your ass kicked. So, but I think that's about good. I mean, do you have anything else? I think we've touched on a lot of good bases.
Thanks for having me, Billy.
I was really, really happy to have you as the first guest, and I'm really excited about working with you again and getting the book out and whatnot.
Cool.
So, do you have any different websites, anything that you want to plug real quick before
No,
we...
just, if you want to listen to my music, dredge.com or darkheavens.com, and my art is www.DREWROULETTE.com. You'll find most of my art there. I have prints and things for sale. And, I'm working on some stuff with you. And, you can check that out at theferalfactory.com. We're coming out with a book, collaboration art, kind of post-children's book kind of thing.
And you have your Loteria show on the
Loteria
16th.
show.
Yeah.
Starts next weekend. That runs for a month in Balboa Park. And
busy.
Yeah, just trying to express myself.
Do your thing. Express yourself. Don't repress yourself. All right, Jerry. Well, thanks again, everybody, and stay tuned, and we'll be getting more artists and guests on here. And again, go to feralfactorypublishing.com. You could also find us at Facebook at Feral Factory Publishing. Have a good day.